a wonderful world full of mystic paradise.
Hey, Composing Gloves here, and today I'm gonna be showing you how to make this sound with, in particular, Massive. And it was a request for, now I realize that's kind of soft, let me turn it up. So it's a really sort of subby sound, so if you don't have good speakers, you might not be able to hear that. But it was a request, they wanted a bass sound, and they wanted to know how to make it a Massive, and this is a sound that you can easily make in almost any VST, and this is like pretty limited VST as far as synthesis goes. And it was, I'm not sure how to say this name, Baauer, I don't know. I don't listen to this genre of music very often, but it's Kung Fu featuring Pusha T, Future. I don't know why I'm saying future. So anyways, listen for the bass sound in this little segment. And this is, again, mine. I was like, I think I nailed it. And so the person who asked me this was like, hey, how do you make this sound? And then once you've made the sound, not once you made the sound. So they were asking, how do you make that sound? So that's that sound. That's how you make that sound. And so that's a really quick talk about it. All it is I have a saw wave coming in, and it's on saw 1 on Massive, and it is coming in. And I knew immediately when I heard this that it was just a low pass saw wave, basically. So it's a -12 because I don't want to write low notes. So -12, low pass 4. It's just what I settled on. The resonance is important here, but you could simulate this using just an EQ curve. And then an amp. Now I am using the, so hopefully that made sense. It's going in, it's being sent into here. This is pretty much my setup. Now what I did do also was, it was clear there was a little bit of distortion on it. So I used the Teletube on there, and I pretty much left it at default. You can see this is slightly off 50, but it's honestly not that big a deal. And there is a chorus that creates the blur that you hear, as well as the spectrum is on, so that this is almost like a low pass unto itself. It will filter it out until it's down to a single harmonic. So that's what spectrum does. And so I'm using that also to my advantage. Now, the sound the person uses in here also has a couple other things. It turns into like just a sine tone at some points, and then it like comes back. If I were to try and accomplish this, I wouldn't necessarily move the low pass knob. I would move the spectrum knob. So I'd have this, and occasionally it goes down to where it's a lot less aggressive, like right there. And then it comes back. And so you can see there's sort of this middle ground. So let's, so again, yeah, so let's make one, right? I showed you how to make it, but this is a simple sound. I didn't do a crap ton to. So we go to File, we'll go to New Sound, and you know what? We could just go through here. I've already figured it out, sort of. But basically, this is down 12. We want it on Spectrum, and saw 1. Guess what? It's the default thing. Woohoo! So you got this. And it's a low C, so it's actually kind of funny. I just find it, for some reason, I find it comical that it's a C, but there's nothing really against it. It's just a C. So, okay. So I'm playing a low C, and we are going to put low pass 4. You could pick any low pass. That's just the one I clicked on before. And you see there's quite a bit of resonance, so we don't want that much resonance. And they have about that. That's about as much of the spectrum as they have there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into spectrum mode, and we're going to filter out some of the high end using this. Just a smidge. It's not going to be super noticeable. It'll be more noticeable as we add in distortions. So I don't think I added. Yeah, I didn't. I just went for the Teletube. So we're going to go for the Teletube. And that's what you get. And now you notice it sounds very, very, very dry. And you might be saying, well, it's got that blurry quality on that one. And it's, as we talked about before, it's accomplished. I went with the chorus ensemble. And that gives us that exact feeling. So now we have that bass. Now you might be saying that gets awful quiet. Well, you just turn it up. Something you may consider doing is just slapping a compressor in post, so you can keep it clean. So what we could do is we could turn this down. This is just an alternative if you are concerned about the whole clipping thing, which you shouldn't be, but if you are, there's options. So I'm going to use, well, there's these auto gain. Well, we'll just use Maximus. So we're going to use Maximus. We're going to go down, and we're just going to push the post. And we're going to do something like that. as we push down, it's not so different. It's still pretty. What we want is we want to specifically compress the low end. I have a video on Maximus and how it works, if you are curious. Now we're coloring our sound though, but I think it's more even that way anyways. So this is sound design, it's not mixing. But if you are interested in using it for mixing, you may consider doing a couple other moves. That was the sound design move. I was just trying to get a more even timbre as I move back and forth. So anyways, that's how you make that sound. Support me on Patreon. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe and have a blessed day. Oh, haha, just kidding. Not a blessed day yet. If you go into voicing, this is really important actually, now that I remember it. One other thing I did to make this guy the way it was you go into the voicing tab, max 16, unison 4. So there's 4 voices. It encourages the unison. These guys can be off. It doesn't matter. And it's on monophonic. And then, so once you do that, okay, let's really quick add that to our patch. So we have, oh, I almost missed this. You go up to 4 and so now, but now you get like this blurry thing when you go between 2 notes. You want it to just glide. So you choose monophonic. And then that rate can be problematic. And so we're going to turn the time down. So now you can slide between notes like they do in the track. We got a, here we go. It's like a low pass, makes that more accurate. So anyways, everything I said before and more, and now you may have a blessed day. How do you use limiters on individual channels? I'm going to sort of just spitball a number of concepts at you, assuming that you know what compression is and a number of other things. And then the other question was, what do you use for your stereo processing? So I'm going to try and answer these kind of fast. They will be answered later on in future series to come on. But the short answer to your first question is you do not use limiters on individual